Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning Five here on Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025. I am Dave Biddle flying solo on today's show. NFL draft starts tomorrow. We're going to see at least one, maybe two Buckeyes go tomorrow. Maybe there'll be a surprise third Buckeye, but there's no doubt. I mean, every mock draft has a Mecca Ibuka going in the first round. Now, some there for a while had him going in the second. I'm like, that is insane to me. This guy is the safest pick in the draft. And now you have a lot of draft analysts saying pretty much that when they were talking to NFL execs. They're saying, we don't know if this guy's going to be a superstar, but we know he's going to play in the league for a lot of years and be very good. I mean, he's the safest pick in the draft as far as I'm concerned. So Emeka's going to go in the first round, not early, probably be similar to like Jackson Smith and Jigba a couple years ago. Look how Jackson's doing. So Josh Simmons, depending on what his teams feel about his knee, if that wasn't an issue, he'd be going in the top 10. I still think he's going to be a first-round pick. But then, so that's Thursday, obviously, and then Friday. Oh, baby, Friday is going to be just a big advertisement for Ohio State football. I cannot wait. I hope Ryan Day is in attendance because there's going to be like 9 Buckeyes drafted on Friday, rounds 2 and 3 combined. 9, maybe 10. You guys know I feel like Will Howard is going to be a second-day pick. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody gets him in the second round, but third round, I'd love to put money on that because most, and I'm going to get into it, guys that I really think do a great job disagree with me. They think he's going to be a third-day pick. Brugler has him going in the 5th round. All right, NFL.com has Big Willie style going in the 4th round. Again, you can bet on almost everything, but at least in Ohio, on the apps, you can't bet on whether Will Howard will be a second-day pick. I wish we could because you'd be getting good odds since everybody else seems to think he's going to be a day 3 pick. I'd love to be able to bet that Will Howard will be a day 2 pick. All right, we're going to get into that. Plus, are the Buckeyes about to add somebody from the portal, somebody really good? Beau Atkinson? Sure looks like it. All right. Before we do that, let me let you guys know about Factor. You guys know I love Factor meals. I always tell you guys the story if you haven't heard it. So I have a buddy that I work with on my side gig and doing radio here in Columbus. And he loves his microwave meal. He doesn't love his microwave meals. We're kind of like in the middle of it's funny. It's like we're pretty close to somewhat close to downtown Columbus. But as far as within 5 minutes or at least 3 minutes, of the station, there's really nothing. So he always brings in microwave meals, cooks them during a commercial break in the middle of the show and then eats at the next commercial break. And finally, I told him, you got to get with Factor, man. You got to stop with these old school microwave meals from the 80s. So, Factor's awesome. It's just, it arrives fresh at your door. You just put it in your fridge. You don't put it in your freezer because it comes fresh, never frozen. And then you pop it in your microwave and it's ready in 2 minutes. And it's high quality. Again, these are not the microwave meals we grew up on. So I like the filet mignon. They got a bunch of good stuff. If you guys are into keto, whatever, it's healthy. It's good quality. We can get you guys a great deal. Not a good deal, but a great deal. Head to factormeals.com/Bucknuts50. Use code Bucknuts50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Bucknuts50 at factormeals.com/Bucknuts50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. And now my friend has, he loves Factor and he thanks me almost every time that he sees me. Rightfully so, because Factor is awesome. And I got him that 50%. I didn't get it. I mean, he got the 50% off deal because I told him about it. Thanks to Factor. All right. So you guys are eating microwave meals. Somebody else who is. Tell them to get with Factor. All right. Let's get with the NFL draft. I love the NFL draft. I absolutely love it. I don't know why, because I'm a Bengals fan and they tend to do stupid stuff most of the time. I'm talking about things like Dax Hill, Miles Murphy. I could go on and on. Jackson Carman. Let's not even go down that road. I just went down it a little too far. Let's do a U-turn, come back around and talk about the Ohio State Buckeyes. All right. Are they going to break the record? I don't know. They're going to tie it. Both Dane Brugler and Chad Reuter from NFL.com did 7-round mock drafts. We're going to go through that. They are both in agreement that Ohio State will have 15 players drafted and will tie the record that Georgia set 3 years ago. Prior to that, Ohio State held the record for 18 years because Ohio State set the record with 14 players drafted in 2004. So basically the crux of the 2002 national championship teams. And most of those guys came back then for the 2003 season, then got drafted in 2004, 14 Buckeyes. I thought that was a record that might last forever, or at least and it did last for a long time. And then Georgia broke it with 15 3 years ago after their first national championship. And then the Buckeyes are at least going to tie that with all the guys that went to the combine. So the question is G. Scott Jr. And or Josh Fryer going to get drafted? These guys don't think so. Another thing that I didn't realize until I've been reading a ton of draft stuff, not necessarily just mock drafts, like people in the know, like giving like their insights, what they're hearing from executives. I love that stuff because when you get close to the draft, and a lot of stuff is smoke screens, but when guys can talk off the record, you can tend to get some good stuff. And one thing all the execs are saying is this is a year because you still have a lot of guys that have had COVID years. Really, 2 classes of guys that had COVID years, plus you have a decent amount of underclassmen that declared compared to last year. So there's just more good players in the draft this year, and there's going to be a high demand for priority free agents. So those undrafted free agents that get calls right away, that get offered at least $10,000 to sign, which that doesn't sound like much for an NFL guy, but that's actually pretty good for an undrafted free agent. But if you're a priority undrafted free agent, you can get like up to like $50,000 to sign, maybe up to 100. That's pretty rare to get 100,000 if you're an undrafted free agent. But this year is going to be the exception to the rule. So there's no doubt, at the very least, G and Josh Fryer are going to be priority free agents. Hopefully somebody takes them in the 7th round. The Buckeyes can break this record. Hopefully they both get taken. And the good news is there's really 8 rounds, kind of. If you look at it, like if you take all the compensatory picks and add those together, it's basically like there's 8 rounds because you have, starting with the 3rd round, there's just a few in the 3rd round, a few more in the 4th, more in the 5th, a bunch in the 6th, and then a bunch in the 7th, compensatory picks. So there's really like 8 rounds if you think about it. So hopefully one of those guys gets drafted and the Buckeyes own the record to themselves. If not, hopefully they at least tie it, which it looks like they will. All right. So Emeka is pretty much a lock to go in the 1st round. We talked about that. Safest pick in the draft as far as I'm concerned. If he doesn't have a catastrophic injury or something like that, at the very least, Emeka is going to play in the NFL and be a really good NFL player for the next decade. I mean, I can't imagine a safer pick than that. If you need a wide receiver and you're sitting there middle of the 1st round, if he slides a little bit, I mean, I'm still surprised Jackson Smith and Jigba went as late as he did. He went 21st, but he was the first wide receiver off the board that year. I think someone's going to take Emeka before then, but probably not top half of the 1st round. I would guess something like 19th for Emeka, 17th, and that not 17th. That's where the Bengals were picking. They can't, as much as that'd be a great pick, they can't afford to use any more capital on wide receivers. Bengals have to go defense, offensive guard. They needed 1 offensive lineman, the rest defense. Anyway, but something like that around there, 16, maybe as high as 15, somewhere around there. That would put him in the top half if he goes 15. So he's just such a safe pick. Josh Simmons. All right, most people, including Brugler, including NFL.com, have Simmons as a 1st round pick. But you do have some people are saying there's a chance he could slide to the 2nd round because some teams are worried about his knee. Okay, some teams are worried about his knee. I get that. All it takes is one. Someone's going to take Simmons in the 1st round, I would think, especially when you have everybody saying he would have been a lock to be a top 10 pick if he wasn't hurt. Although you can't ignore a knee injury, so I don't know what it's a serious knee injury. So it just depends on how his medicals are checking out. All right, 2nd round. First guy that they both have going in the 2nd round is Donovan Jackson. And he's a guy that, there's no way he's going to slide out of the 2nd round. He's the guy that I think is the wild card. That I think there might be some team at the end of the 1st round that could take D-Jax, which would be cool. I mean, he helped his, not breaking news to you guys, he helped his stock so much with that CFP run. Not just playing left tackle, but playing it so well. He's got long arms. He's 6'4". It's not like he's 6'2", so he's 6'4". So he's not the ideal height, but it's more about your wingspan. He's got long arms, 33.5-inch arms. So he's got longer arms than some of these guys. Like there's some guys in this draft that have like 33-inch arms. Like Will Campbell, I believe, has shorter arms, like 33-inch. It'd be nice to have 33. I've got pretty long arms. It'd be nice to have, I don't even know how long they are. It'd be nice to have 33-inch arms. Kind of got short arms there. But seriously, as you guys know, it's very important for offensive linemen to have long arms, especially if you're a tackle. You can get away with it as a guard or a center. which is why a lot of those guys that maybe had the height of a tackle play guard because they don't have the long arms. A lot of it's feet too, obviously. So Donovan Jackson, second round. Everybody and their mother has Trey and Q going in the second round. Some back to back or within 2 picks of each other, and pretty much everybody has Travion over Quinshawn. I would go the other way. You can't go wrong either way. I love both of them. Quinshawn's I get it because Travion is so explosive, but Quinshawn's that third. I guess this depends on what you want too. Q's he's a 3-down back. He's physical. He's durable. He's never had any issues. He carried the ball like a million times at Ole Miss. Never any durability issues. Never any durability issues at Ohio State his 1 year. That's another thing I would take Q over Trey, but you can't go wrong either way. All right. Another guy that seems like a lock to go in the second round that I thought might be a first rounder when all this started, but I get it because this is loaded with D tackles this year and defensive lineman, period. If you need a D lineman in this draft, Cincinnati Bengals, good time to get one. Tyleik Williams. Everybody has him going in the second round. Whoever gets him in the second round, that'll be a heck of a nice pick for you. And then JT Tuimoloau is the other guy everybody has going in the second round. So there you go. So that's going to start the second day. You're going to have 5 Buckeyes, boom, 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 going in the second round. All right. Everybody has Jack Sawyer going in the third round. Everybody. I mean, take that with a grain. I've seen him. Some people have him going in the second. Almost everybody has him going in the third round. Shorter arms, didn't test maybe as well as everybody hoped. Didn't bench a lot. It's not his 40 time. I don't even know what his 40 time was or if he even did it. He didn't bench a lot. He has short arms. I don't care. We know that he's an absolute animal and a leader. Third round. Sorry, I'm talking about my Bengals a lot, but like Sam Hubbard just retired, he was a third round pick out of the Ohio State. How about Jack Sawyer, third round of the Bengals? With or without Trey Hendrickson. I want Trey Hendrickson, but you still need more depth at defensive end with Miles Murphy being a complete bust. And the other guys they have are just Jags, just a guy. All right, Denzel Burke. Both of these guys have Burke going in the third round. Maybe Brugler had him going in the fourth. NFL.com has Burke going in the third, though. And then Ty Hamilton. He seems like Ty Hamilton's a guy. I think, first of all, Ty Hamilton, just put on the film. It's good film. But I think having his brother doing so well in the NFL helps Ty. Ty's not quite as big as Devon, but strong dude. I mean, he was actually the 1 tech, whereas Tyleik was the 3 tech. He's that nose guard, even though he's only, quote unquote, 295 pounds. Ty Hamilton's a strong dude. They have him going in the third round. All right. Let me do one more ad read. Or I got actually 2 more, but let me do one here, and then we're going to get to a lot more stuff. We're going to get to Beau Atkinson later. He was Fonged, our old friend, Steve Wiltfong. Dan Rubin and I are always going to be friends with Fong. You can put, we work for competitors now. Okay. When I go on the road for Ohio State road trips, who the guys I hang out with, guys are our competitors, guys from 11 Warriors, guys from Buckeye Huddle, got Dayton Daily News, bunch of guys that I like. But anyway, so but yeah, we'll get to all that. So Fong has predicted that Beau Atkinson's going to be a Buckeye. I like that. We're going to get to why I like Beau Atkinson so much. Read up a lot on him. Before we do that, though, I'm going to talk about the rest of the draft stuff for Ohio State, beginning with Will Howard and why I got some stuff to get off my chest. All right, I have to air some grievances. It's not quite Festivus, but it's time for the feats of strength, the airing of grievances. All right, but there's no grievances when it comes to Goodr sunglasses. I mean, Goodr's fantastic. They look great. You got tons of styles to choose from. And I mean, the only problem is they're like $250. No, they're not $250. They start at $25 a pair. $25 a pair. Get a couple. Why not? If you're like me and you consistently lose sunglasses, Goodr's perfect for you. And we got a good deal for you. They've got tons of good styles. I like Operation Blackout. I'd show them to you, but I had 2 pair. Guess what I did? I'm not even joking. Lost both of them. So I'm having our ad rep reach out, see if we can get me a couple of free pair. If not, I'll just buy them. It's not a big deal. They have a customer in me. It's not a big deal. But anyway, we can get you guys a great deal. And here's the great deal. Free shipping, you want free shipping, you got free shipping. Goodr offers 30-day money-back guarantee and 100% satisfaction. Use our code Bucknuts for free shipping, okay? Go to goodr.com/Bucknuts. Use code Bucknuts for free shipping. There you go. Goodr offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. You won't need it, but it's good it's there. 100% satisfaction. Again, that's goodr.com/Bucknuts. Use code Bucknuts for free shipping. Comes in this cool box and everything. See, mine's empty because I lost them. Man. But instead of being out $250, I'm out $25. So, first time I lost them, I was out 0 because they sent me a couple free ones. Sent me 3 free ones. Actually, I gave one to my wife. That was the Amelia Earhart Ghosted Me. She loves it. And lost those 2 that I got for free. So then I bought 2. Lost those. So we'll see. We'll see if the ad rep's going to take care of me. If not, I'll just have to buy them. Maybe not lose them right away. Well, I didn't right away. I actually kept them for a while. I got them back before I went to Arizona for spring training. By the way, the Reds need to get off their butt today and win an afternoon game. All right. Back to Ohio State football. All right, Will Howard. I don't understand this, and I don't buy it either, that he's going to be a third-day pick. I mean, these guys have tough jobs. These guys that do 7-round mocks. I saw somebody came out with a 1-round mock yesterday. I'm like, who's doing 1-round mocks right now? Come on, get with the program. You at least need to do a 3-round mock to be taken seriously at this point. Doing a 1-round mock? Come on, get out of here. You got Dane Brugler out here doing a 7-round mock. It's really 8 rounds, like I was saying, with compensatory picks. So he's going to get some that maybe aren't, I got a problem with, And these guys are like trying to look at like thousands of players. And I watched every throw Will Howard made 3 times this year at least. Because I rewatch every game. I watch every game live, watch it, sometimes watch it again. If it's a college football playoff game, I might or might not have watched it 20 times. 1, 2, 3. Still basking. Damn right I'm still basking. I know you guys are too. Still basking. I love how a lot of you guys have just chime in with still basking. Why do you guys do that? Because you're still basking. Love it. All right. So, first of all, I don't buy it at all. I mean, you talk to guys like John Gruden, they sure don't buy it, right? Whatever you think of Pat McAfee, he thinks Will Howard should be a first-round pick. I mean, I see what he's saying. I'm not even saying first-round pick. Second day. I think he's going to be a second-day pick. I won't be surprised if he goes in the second round. Apparently, that's crazy compared to some of these guys. NFL.com has Will going in the 4th round. To the Steelers, no less. Can you imagine that? The Steelers, I've been saying, man, if they had a second-round pick, that'd probably be a good fit there. Will Howard in the second round, but they don't have a second-round pick. Maybe they'd get him in the 3rd round. That'd be a great fit for the Steelers, I think. Will Howard in the 3rd round. 4th round, I just don't see him lasting that long. He's just got too many. I know he's got his faults. I've watched every throw he made this past year at least 3 times. More than 3 times. I know him. Every run he's made, everything he's done at Ohio State, I've watched a lot. I know you guys have too. I mean, he's got stuff that NFL execs are going to love. Coaches, everybody is going to love. And it's smoke screen season. They're not going to go out and tell, even their sources because they know it's going to get leaked. They're going to keep everything in-house. Let's say you're a team that really wants Will Howard in the 2nd round. You're going to tell these people, yeah, I'm not sold on. I'm probably more of a day 3 guy. That's probably what these guys are hearing. They're not just making it up. They're probably hearing from people they trust that are throwing them off the scent. Yeah, Will Howard, I say whatever. It doesn't have a cannon for an arm and this and that. He'll make 1 or 2 bad plays a game usually. And yeah, he went on a run in the CFP. I see more of a third day guy, and that team snatches him up in the 2nd round. Happens all the time. And quarterbacks get overdrafted. I don't think it would be overdrafting, but I just don't get it. I don't get that Will Howard is projected as a 3rd-day pick, and I don't think it'll come to fruition. I think he will be a 2nd-day pick. 6'4", 235 pounds, decent mobility, ran a similar 40 as Josh Allen at the exact same size pretty much. Josh Allen's a little bit bigger, ran a little bit faster. A little bit bigger, ran a little bit faster. Now, Josh Allen will truck you like a fullback. Will doesn't have that power, but he's got some power. He's a guy you can definitely use in the red zone. He had a bunch of rushing touchdowns for the Buckeyes this year. He's not Josh Allen as a runner, but he's not a statue either. And his leadership is off the charts. That is so important for a quarterback. He loves football. Just ask John Gruden. I tell you what, man, it's Will Howard, man. Should be a second-round pick, man. Cody freaking Simon, man. God, I love that. That box that Gruden opened, that's one of the best things I've ever seen. All right, so Will Howard's projected as a 4th-rounder by NFL.com. Lathan Ransom, 4th round. I like that. Some have him in the 3rd round. I've seen him also as a 3rd-day pick. Lathan's a little bit everywhere. Maybe there's some concerns of like his injury history, but Jesus, he was just literally cracking skulls this year. He's cracking helmets. So it's Cody Simon. Cody Simon projected. Some have him as a 4th rounder. Some have him as a 5th rounder. I've seen him as low as 6th round. He was fantastic this year. I think 5th round is where NFL.com has him going. NFL.com has Seth McLaughlin going in the 3rd round. That's by far the highest I've seen Seth going. Brugler has him going. Dane has him going 6th round. So Seth is another guy kind of all over the map there. I've seen other mock drafts that are 3-round mock drafts. I saw one that had him very, very late because NFL.com has him a little earlier in the 3rd round. But that was the only time I've seen Seth projected as a 3rd-round pick, and this is the highest I've seen him go, more mid-3rd round. 4th seems about right for Seth. Again, Brugler has him in the 6th. 4th or 5th is what I'd guess for Seth. Another one, this is the last one I'll mention, and then we'll move on to other stuff. Jordan Hancock, I don't get this one either. NFL.com has him in the 7th round. Brugler has him in the 6th round. Now, I do understand that slot corners are not as valuable as outside corners. Okay, but we're not talking about why is Jordan Hancock not a 2nd round or 3rd round projection. 4th or 5th sounds way more accurate to me than 6th or 7th, because I know you can say that's splitting hairs. We're all talking about day 3, but big difference between 4th or 5th round. Team's probably going to keep you unless you really look bad. If you're a 4th round pick, you're pretty much guaranteed to make the team. Pretty much as a 4th round pick. 7th round pick, the odds are against you. So big difference there. 5th round, 6th round, not a big difference, but 4th round, huge difference than 7th round. Or even 6th round. Okay, here's why. Jordan Hancock played fantastic last year. And just because he played nickel at Ohio State doesn't mean he can't play outside corner. He played outside corner because the Buckeyes were loaded at outside corner last year with IGB and Burke. Oh, Burke's another guy. I left off Burke. Or maybe I did mention Burke. NFL.com has Burke going in the 3rd round. Brugler has him going in the 4th round. So Denzel Burke's another guy. Didn't have a great final year, but still, he's going to be either a late 2nd-day pick or an early 3rd-day pick, and we'll make an opening day NFL roster. I don't think he's just going to be in camp and make a practice squad. He'll be on an NFL team this year. Denzel Burke just has a ton of experience. I mean, he started as a true freshman at Ohio State. He stayed 4 years. So he had a ton of experience under pressure. So he's another guy. But Jordan Hancock, 6th round or 7th round, I don't get that. Fantastic year. Can play outside corner if you need him to. He's a willing tackler. He's fast. How fast is he? He ran a 4.42 at Ohio State's pro day. 4.42. And he also he had the best 40 of anybody there that day, and he also jumped out the gym. All right, 41.5-inch vertical. So I don't get it. Maybe one thing if he was like, well, he's kind of soft. No, he's definitely not. He's kind of small. 6'1", 195. Mike Hilton, one more Bengal reference. I promise this is it. This is just what came to mind. Mike Hilton, who's no longer going to be a Bengal, was one of the best slot corners in the league these last few years. My guy checked in at about 5'9", 178 or something like that. You know, it's the old, it's the size of the fight and the dog, not the size of the dog in the fight. That's Mike Hilton right there. So you give me Jordan Hancock at 6'1", 195, runs a 4.42 40, jumps out the gym, has great film. 6th or 7th round pick. What the hell am I missing here? All right. And then hopefully G and or Josh gets drafted. But like we were saying earlier, NFL scouts are like, man, this is a weird year because there's a lot of guys who normally would be 6th or 7th round picks who are going to be priority free agents this year. I think that might push G and Josh out of the draft when normally they'd be drafted. That'd be a shame, but hopefully. It sounds like 15 are locks, which right there, that ties the record. You just need one team to pull the trigger. And hey, hopefully this helps a little bit. G. Scott Sr. has some NFL ties. Maybe the Seahawks late will take him. How cool would that be? How cool would that be if G goes to the Seahawks late? All right. Do one more ad read, and we'll get to Beau Atkinson. All right. Let's get to it here. All right. Let you guys know about Mando. All right, Mando. I love Mando. Mando whole body deodorant will be your next best friend. It really is good. It controls odor for 72 hours. It's America's #1 selling whole body deodorant for men. I mean, you can get it now. You can get it at Meijer, Walmart, Target, other major retailers. But still go to shopmando.com. Shopmando.com. But if you actually absolutely want it right now, you can head out and get it at stores, which used to not be a thing. Used to have to get it online, but through Mando. But now they keep growing so much that I'm sure you guys see the commercials on TV. You've heard me talk about it a lot. I mean, they've say they're blowing up wouldn't even be accurate. They've blown up. They also have Lumi for women, Mando for men, Lumi for women. That wasn't even an ad read. I just threw that because I know we have a lot of women that listen to the show. Same company, both started by a doctor, Dr. Shannon. You see her on commercials. Easy to see why this company is blown up. Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. We can get you guys a good deal. The starter pack comes with a solid stick deodorant. Comes with a cream tube deodorant. That's what this is. Comes with 2 free products of your choice and free shipping. You get all that with your starter pack. And luckily, I have a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. Our exclusive code that equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code Bucknuts at shopmando.com. shopmando.com. Use that code Bucknuts. All right. We've got a meeting later today at the Fan. I already got my Mando on. I'll be smelling good, obviously. A lot of intrigue going on at the Fan right now. But I love my we're gonna be doing a draft show tomorrow. Speaking of the Fan at the casino, if any of you guys are local, come over to Hollywood Casino tomorrow night for the draft. Doing a show from 7 to 8, and then we're doing a watch party for pretty much the entire first round. So head out to Hollywood Casino. Yeah, I don't know if it's official, my friends. Rick and many others, Mika, asking about Beau. Does Beau know? Do we know what Beau knows? Well, this is a blast from the past talking about a Fong bomb on the BM5, but Steve Wiltfong has predicted that Beau Atkinson's going to be a Buckeye. I don't know what they call their predictions over there. I should know this. Still want to call it a crystal ball. Let's just call it a prediction. How about that? I know they have their own name for it. Why wouldn't they? So I like that Fong bomb. All right, why do I like Beau Atkinson so much? I'm sure a lot of you guys know this. If you don't, Beau Atkinson, defensive end from North Carolina. He'll be a junior this coming season. It's an Ohio State-Georgia battle. Those two. And it looks like it's going to be the Buckeyes. I absolutely love this. Do they still need to get a DT in the portal? Yes, we'll get to that in a second. I love this, though. Now, I feel great about defensive end now, and I think they're going to use more odd fronts this year. Because Patricia just does that anyway. He'll do 4-3. He'll do 3-4. He'll mix stuff up. But most importantly, because he adjusts his scheme to the strength of his players. And this might be a year to do some more odd fronts. Get big K-Mac in there as your nose guard. Edric is the 3 tech if they go 4-3, but he can be at strong side end in a 3-4. And then you got a bunch of guys you can use as that other defensive end. Then you can maybe use a guy like Kenyatta or Caden Curry is kind of more of a more of an outside linebacker type. CJ Hicks can be like more of an outside linebacker type. They have so many weapons to use here, and Beau Atkinson's going to be one of them. I mean, this guy's not coming here to be a backup. And I don't know who's not going to start between Caden Curry and Kenyatta Jackson, but one of those guys will not be starting because Beau Atkinson will start 100%. I'd bet my life on it. This is a young man last year as a sophomore at North Carolina, had 7.5 sacks. 12 tackles for loss. Love this. Big dude, 6'6", 265 pounds. So, and the kind of dude that you can move inside during rushman packages. So he can help a little bit with the D tackle situation, although he's a defensive end all the way. This guy's going to be an NFL defensive end for sure. For sure. Now, do I think he's going to be an absolute superstar here? No, but I think he's going to be. He could be. He very well could be. Think about it. He had 7.5 sacks and 12 tackles for loss last year as a sophomore at North Carolina. Now he's coming to Ohio State. Yeah, would we have liked him come here winner? Of course, but whatever. I'm glad Buckeyes got a really good get in the portal at a position of need. Not as big of a need as D tackle, but a position of need. And I like the whole situation now with Beau Atkinson, Caden Curry, Kenyatta Jackson. Logan George is going to play a ton. They love him. CJ Hicks and Zion Grady. There you go. That's 6 defensive ends right there. They needed one more, and they got him, and they got a good one. They got a really good one. And I love how big he is and just how much of a playmaker he is, how much he loves football. Really smart dude, too. Smart dude, good guy. He's going to fit in the culture well. This team is just so much fun to cover. I mean, still basking, obviously, but, winning national championships, that's fun. I think you guys probably like that. But, I mean, winning a national championship with a team of national championship young men off the field just makes it even cooler. And Beau Atkinson's one of these guys. I don't know him, but talking to people that know him, good dude. So, and I'm sure the fact that Ohio State has this culture helped his decision. Absolutely love it. All right, Beau Atkinson, again, not official, unless something's changed during my solo venture here, because I don't really check anything unless you guys, you good people, let me know. Yeah, no, don't mess with me, guys. Don't be like, yeah, Dave, it's official. No, I would definitely make sure it was checking with the dean or one of my other colleagues at Bucknuts to make sure. But we were here, and it's looked good for the Buckeyes, and then now it sounds like it looks really, really good for the Buckeyes. All right. What doesn't look really, really good for the Buckeyes is landing a D tackle. I think an impact D tackle. Or maybe, I always said getting a stud D tackle. I mean, first one has to be in there. And your definition of a stud D tackle is what? Future, at least second round NFL draft pick at the very least, immediate starter, and definite at least second round NFL draft pick. That's my definition of stud D tackle in the portal. You wouldn't talk about a rotational piece who's going to be a 7th round pick as a stud D tackle. But I thought they at least needed to get a guy that they know can provide depth, because I don't know who they are confident in as far as the backup D tackles that can provide depth. You got Guy. I mean, maybe it'll be Eric Mensah. He's a guy. He still has 4 years left. Redshirt freshman, pretty good spring, big guy, a little bit of a floppy belly. I like that. 315 pounds. Maybe Eric Mensah's a guy. Jason Moore, Will Smith Jr. entering their 3rd years. Still have 3 years left because they're 3rd-year sophomores. Maybe one of those guys or both can help. Tywone Malone entering his 5th and final year. Is he going to do anything? So they've got guys, but I don't know. None of those guys stepped up in the spring where you're like, that's the guy. That's the guy that's going to back up K-Mac and Edric and be the top backup. He's going to be the Caden McDonald of last year. Not in terms of his size, but in terms of his impact off the bench. K-Mac was a great backup last year. Who's going to be that this year? We don't know. So at least get that guy in the portal. The problem is, I've talked to sources about this, and this makes a lot of sense. Ohio State's in a tricky situation when it comes to landing a D tackle in the portal, because the guys they want, they can't really promise a starting spot to, because they like K-Mac and they like Edric. I mean, I guess technically they could, but Ohio State is they're not out here lying to kids. Maybe there's a kid in there they just feel like is definitely better and would say, yeah, you're coming here to start. We can't say that, but they can't really, because they like K-Mac and Edric. They need a 3rd guy. Okay. So you're trying to convince a guy to come here as a 3rd guy. You're the top backup. NIL, let's hope the NIL is in a good situation, all that good stuff. You're one play away from being a starter. You can compete for a starting spot. Sounds good, right? Come to Ohio State. The problem with that is everybody else recruiting that kid, name it, and whoever that kid is, impact D tackle in the portal. Everybody else is, what are they telling that kid? We'll promise you a starting spot, 100%. Again, we can't say that to the media or anything. You can't say that to your team, but you are definitely coming here as a starter. And then probably the NIL is going to be at least as good, maybe even better than Ohio State's. So Ohio State's in a tricky spot trying to tell a kid, hey, come here as the top backup. And I'm not talking about, UC Bearcats or something like that's offering him a chance to start. I'm talking about Texas, Georgia, teams like that are promising him a chance to start. Not necessarily those schools specifically, just using a hypothetical. So it's not like you're going against like a MAC school or something, or like even like a lower level power 4. Really, there's the power 2, and then the other kind of power 2. It's not really a power 4. But since, UC is a good example of that. We're not talking about, kid UC is promising a chance to start. We're talking about like Oklahoma's promising, and like the kid that went in the portal from Oklahoma for 2 days and came back to Oklahoma. Really hard to draw the line there between A and B, huh? I wonder what happened there. He went in the portal to get more money, and then they acquiesced and gave him more money. Okay. Makes sense. But this is the problem. So Ohio State's battling with top programs telling a kid that we're going to make you a starter, where Ohio State's telling them, we'll give you a chance to compete for a starting spot, but we can't promise it. It's a huge difference for these kids. They obviously, they're in the portal, they want to start. So, like, I have no doubt in my mind, he'll never admit this, and he shouldn't. No doubt in my mind, Ryan Howard, former baseball player Ryan Howard joins the show. Ryan Howard. Ryan Day told Will Howard when they met, when everything, the recruiting process with Will Howard, so to speak, when he entered the portal. No, I have no doubt in my mind Ryan Day told Will Howard, you're coming here to be the starter. No doubt in my mind. So we'll see. They need to land a D tackle in the portal. I think they will. I don't know if they're going to land a guy that we know for sure is an impact D tackle, though. Hopefully they will. But Beau Atkinson, I love that. All right, I'm going to hop off here. I got to get the show up, and then I got to get to that aforementioned meeting that I have. So appreciate you guys. Big live audience. Love that. Love seeing that. Sorry I couldn't interact in the chat more, but hard to do that when you're flying solo. But appreciate you guys a lot. You guys know that. Love that you guys make the Bucknuts Morning 5 a part of your routine Monday through Friday. Dan Rubin will be with you with the boys tomorrow. Thanks to Dan for covering for me on Monday. I was under the weather on Monday. A little bit of that Easter flu. And there was some bug going around that one of my friends caught that I probably caught from him again at the radio studio. He even warned me to stay away from him, and I did because I didn't stay far enough. And then I got the exact same bug. And then the D-Rubes filled in for me admirably, as everybody would expect. So thank you to Dan. And he'll be with you again with, I believe, the Poobah and the Dean tomorrow. We shall see. But thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys very much. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Go Bucks. Still basking.